Hello, everyone, and welcome to this latest the Patriot report with me, Peter Sweden, and we have Red Pill Phil with us today. Unfortunately, we couldn't do the show last time on Sunday because Phil was out in Bristol at the march. There was some protests going on. So, well, I thought maybe we could start off with what you saw in Bristol, Phil. What did you see there? What happened in Bristol? There was some kind of protest and some speeches going on there. What happened?
Yes, it was the British immigrants and gays against Sharia law. It was held in the centre of Bristol on Sunday. Um, I must admit, it was an absolutely fantastic event. There was a few key speakers. Rebel Media, Jack were there. Annie Greek was there. Johnny English was there. There was a current Muslim chap who was speaking. It was just thoroughly a very warm occasion. The optics was good. The numbers wasn't big, I will say that.
How many people?
But
How
the
many
people,
people? How many people did you have
oh,
there?
you're probably talking 40 to 50 people, maybe more, maybe 60,
Okay,
70.
so
Um,
so
but
it wasn't.
everyone there was really nice. No, it wasn't an enormous march by any means. Apparently, there was a march regarding the NHS the day previous on the Saturday.
Okay.
And I gathered once I got to Bristol, Bristol is a very liberal place, so
Yeah.
we kind of knew when me and my companion Jordan, before the day went down, we kind of knew as soon as the car was parked that we knew that it was eerie. There was a lot of liberal kind of smells in the air, and we just kind of felt that it wasn't so much out of place, but we just kind of knew people could see. There was a lot of people with different coloured hair and all different coloured kind of spray t-shirts walking past us. And
Mm.
it was just like we were a different species. So we kind of knew the sense when we got there. But the actual march itself went off to a T. The optics was good. Everyone was very, obedient, very nice, very warm. There was a few people. Antifa was there. They come out
Mm.
in force, shouting kind of
How
obscenities.
many
Uh,
Antifa did you have there?
oh, you're probably talking about sporadically spread out, probably about 20 people.
Okay.
You got a group of them that were kind of following the march. And the police done a fantastic job. I've got to say thank you to the Bristol police because they done their best to keep the different factions separate.
Mm.
And you could tell the way they were policing who they felt the victim was and who they felt the perpetrator was. They were
Mm.
just creating a kind of a barrier
Mm.
for us. When it
Mm.
comes to Antifa, they were blocking them out. They were trying to block them. If they couldn't block them with horses, they were blocking them with the vans. If they couldn't block them with the vans, they were just with numbers of policemen just shunting them off. I mean, it
Mm.
didn't stop these
Were they
lefties just still
were
screaming.
Antifa any violent there, or were they just screaming?
No, they were just screaming. They were just adolescent kids that just were shouting Nazi, and it was so ironic, mate, because the march couldn't have been any more peaceful. The people within that march couldn't have been any more friendly. There was no swear words. There was no finger gestures. There was no bad optics. There was all demographics of people there, and
Mm.
everyone who was speaking before the march, you felt like you were in good company.
Mm.
So when the march kicked off, it didn't seem that anyone was uncomfortable within this march. But
Oh,
then the
yeah.
level of abuse that they got didn't seem to be justified as opposed to the crew that was within the march, which is obviously a common theme when it comes to Antifa. They just use the simple tactics of calling everyone a Nazi and this, that, and the other, scum and all kinds of swear words and whatnot. It was
Mm.
quite a shock to see, but almost very comical because it was just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, the march went off to a T. To be honest, mate, I would say going forward, I would say that is the way to hold marches. The way Anna Greek organise a march, the way she would liaison with the police, it all seemed first class. And the actual people that was within the march was of a nice temperament and looked good and was unprovoked, did not kind of start any trouble in any way, was just on a mission, just wanted to do the silent march. There was no chanting, no even shouting back. It was just kind of nice and jolly atmosphere all the way through. So that was my rundown of that event. So thoroughly enjoyed it. Brilliant.
Okay, and the speeches, what happened there? I think Paul Weston was speaking there, Jack Buckby,
Yes.
who is apparently the producer of Red Bull and the campaign manager for Emery Waters at the same time. And we had, who else did we have there?
Lucy Brown. Anna Greek spoke. There was an ex-Muslim, his name does escape me. Do apologise. He was a lovely chap, a London student, very knowledgeable, very enlightening as to the different amount of sects within Islam itself. And who else was there? Now I'm on the spot. All the speakers was absolutely fantastic. They all done well. Like I say, there wasn't speaking to a massive crowd by any means.
Like 50 people, you said.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just a good atmosphere, Peter. So it was a good rally, a good march to be a part of. I felt like, it was worth my while making the journey, and it was a pleasure to be a part of it. And I've come back, having good feelings about the people who I've met and the whole experience in general, really.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I went to the march in protest in Newcastle. By the way, I wonder if YouTube is shadow banning us or something, because we have no viewers at all. It's like I've never seen this before. We usually get at least 50 viewers straight away, and it goes up to 100. Now we only down at like 17 viewers for some reason. I wonder if YouTube is shadow banning us. That's really strange.
Right.
That's never happened before.
Okay, then maybe they don't want the message going out that the march was quite good, and they don't want the optics of that. So who knows?
If anyone who's already here, did you get any notification at all about this stream going up, or did you just happen to stumble across it? Nice to know. Let us know in the live stream in case YouTube is shadow banning us or something. It would be good to know. Yeah, we got like no viewers at all. Really strange.
Right. That is. There's got to be something going on there, surely, because normally I'm using my phone at the moment, so normally I would get a notification because I'm subscribed to your channel. So I don't know whether I've not got the notification because I'm actually streaming, or whether I would normally get some kind of notification alarm. So I've not got anything, me personally.
It looks like some people saying I got notification. Strange.
Right. Okay. Right.
Someone is asking who the other guy, who Phil is. Phil is the guy who gave Antifa a bit of a schooling in a viral video from a march in Manchester. If you haven't seen it, just check it out. It's on my channel. Yes, apparently I have someone from Portugal watching as well. So that's good.
Okay.
Someone says that you have to click the bell button to be notified when a new video comes out. Apparently, yeah. So if you haven't pressed the bell button, make sure to press that then, so you get the notification. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a little bit more people now all of a sudden that I start talking about it. So that's good at least.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, keep on coming. We're up to we were at like 14 viewers before. We're up to 32 now. So it's a little bit of improvement. Anyway, yeah. So if you're here, make sure to share it on your Facebook and Twitter and social media to get more viewers on here. So let's. Yeah. Well, I went to the protest in Newcastle on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday. No. Yeah, Saturday. The EDL was having a march there, a protest, and there was a counter protest by Antifa Unite. Yeah, I mean, I've done some videos on it already talking about this, so you can check them out if you haven't done so. But the EDL march, well, mm, no, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't really that good. It was like about 50 people in the EDL march, so it's like nothing. They were all walking around, smoking, drinking beer, they were having hoodies on, and they were just loads of England flags, and it says F, and it said F Islam on their shirts, and they were playing like, and they had the like big speaker playing like loud rock music, and they were shouting like EDL, EDL, EDL. It was just like, oh, that's so
Yes.
it's so cringe. It's oh no,
Yeah.
it's like, oh no.
Yeah. It's never going to work doing that, is it, Peter? You
No,
know.
there were no families there or anything. It was just like kind of working class men, maybe like ranging from a couple, 25, 30, 35, 40 years old. It's just nah. It's not gonna. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work at all.
I mean, that's like tapping into the tribal kind of thug mentality, really, the more football hooligan element, and that is not attractive to see, or nobody wants, you're not going to get the average person to want to join to
No,
that.
that's the thing. No, that's the thing.
I mean, I'm not actually advocating it either. So it's not like I'm saying, oh, guys, you need to soften your image. I'm not, because to be honest, I want nothing to do with any of that.
No.
That's not what I profess to be. And this is what I kind of try and say in so many different ways, that the at the moment now they've categorized everyone under the same brush. And my feelings on, immigration and whatever else, Sharia law, all the bad stuff that's going on at the moment, is not necessarily the same as other people's views. But we all kind of go under the same banner, but at the same time, we're all tarnished with the same brush of being just right wing, far right. Now, I personally don't subscribe to the left or right paradigm, because I do believe that it is just a bit of a facade. But at the same time, the values that are coming out at the moment, I am more in line with the right wing than anyone at the moment. The left is absolutely crazy in so many different ways. But at the same time, I don't like being tagged all the time. Now, they're doing it through the media, they're doing it through brainwashing tactics. And this march will do, it's like when you'd make 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. I've just been explaining to you about what a brilliant march I attended in Bristol, all the right optics. And then you can imagine the one that will be filmed will be the one that went on in, where you went to, Newcastle.
There was loads of journalists there covering the EDL march, like 50 people.
Because they're going to, because
there were like 50 people there.
They're feeding into it.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm just saying that the EDL and that mentality, they're actually making the journalists' work very easy, because all the journalists are there for is to paint the right as a negative force. And why should anyone really want anything to do with these guys? Look at them. So then, without even being prompt, if the average lad who's going, he's got his hood up, he's got a backpack full of beers, and they're swearing between one another, and they're sticking their fingers up to anyone who's saying anything to them on the street.
They're actually sticking.
How are you ever going to get?
I came there to film them first. They're actually giving me the finger as well.
See, so it's like, how do you? And I'm like I say, I'm not even defending them, because I don't back them at all. I don't align with anything EDL do or say at all. Never have been and never will do. It's not my brand.
No.
But there's a certain way of getting this message out without sounding like you're an absolute thug. Now, I'm not trying to say let's be a bit more slick and a bit more intelligent, but no matter what your message, no matter what you want to do, your optics. I mean, the video, I watched your video earlier today, Peter, regarding your final thoughts
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
optics. And I thought you were spot on. No movement is going to get anywhere if you've got bad optics. If you want to...
Yeah, go on.
Now, I was just saying, if you want to kind of attract the average person, the person who doesn't want to be in a gang mentality but wants to join a movement, then you've got to not soften your image, but you've got to appeal to everyone and not just appeal to 0.1% that is absolutely got two brain cells. One brain cell is probably, mashed up on beer. The other brain cell's on recharge. And it's like, that just... I will admit, the Manchester March, when we started the march, it was supposed to be a silent march. Tommy Robinson was at the front line. He was doing his utmost. He had his microphone there. We're walking up. If he had to say one time, be quiet, he had to say it at least 6 times.
Yeah, he was all the time. Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, because there were a bunch.
Yeah,
most of the guys there were normal guys, but there were a few of the EDL types there who were making a bit of noise.
And I've seen it myself. I mean, I've seen the backpacks, and they had beers in them. It's like they'd been to the off license just before they went, and they thought they'd make this as a day out. And it's like, this is supposed to actually... I mean, the march I went to, there was one chap on a bike who come up, as soon as the march started, one chap on a bike come across the road, walking on it with his bike, and he was shouting, "Go home, you're not one today, you're not welcome." No one said nothing, nothing retaliated. At that point, I was filming just in front on a diagonal level. Now, to the right-hand side of me, there was another chap shouting obscenities, go home, F off, all this kind of stuff. So as these guys were kind of getting ushered away, I shouted to one of them, like, why is there any problem with there being a peaceful march? Yeah. Now, looking at the different optics of that actual event, the people that were shouting were being aggressive and nasty. The people within the march were just stood there holding the flags up. There was no one with hoods on. There was no beer being consumed. There was all different demographics. There was even a couple of ladies in wheelchairs. Dogs being in that group. There was just a more family orientated kind of group within that group. So you could see distinctly who was being the aggressor. Yeah. And on the side of the street, you would think, well... No, go on, mate, sorry.
Yeah, well, I think when it comes to the optics, as we're talking about here, if you look at the kind of ideal, thuggish, and also the guys who are walking around doing Nazi stuff as well, and it's the same thing. It's just stupid optics. I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, they're making it worse. They're absolutely making it worse, mate, because you've got the real liberal leaning person now who reads into these optics and then tars everyone with that brush.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was chatting to this gentleman at the side of the Bristol march, the first thing he mentioned was Charlottesville. And he was just running through and then the 4 officers that got arrested under terrorism, but the only reason they got arrested under terrorism is because the group that they're supposedly affiliated is a terrorist group. So the headline was structured like that.
Actually, I just want to say one thing with that. I think that's a really dangerous, slippery slope what the UK is doing there with those guys. They are actually essentially they are Nazis. I don't agree with them with that at all. But being a Nazi is part of democracy. In a democracy, you are allowed to be a Nazi if you want to. I mean, it's not illegal in a real democracy. But anyway, that group was banned last year. They hadn't committed any attacks. They hadn't attacked any people. They were banned and labeled as a terrorist organization purely because of their views. From what I can gather, which is a very dangerous slippery slope. Just imagine, we now start banning political parties, political organizations, just because we don't like their opinions. That's really dangerous slippery slope. But anyway, I don't agree with them at all as a group.
No, I mean, if that's going to happen, Same as, mate. I don't agree with him, and I'm not defending him at all.
But I think,
But if
I
you're going to
think
ban people, then Antifa should have been banned a long time ago,
that's the
surely.
thing. Antifa, they have actually been attacking people violently on the streets. They don't get banned at all. These guys, they didn't attack. They didn't commit any attacks, but they got banned. And the thing is, these 4 guys that were arrested. Here's the thing that I really can't get my hand around with these 4 guys that were arrested. So they were part of this Nazi group. They had not committed any crime. They hadn't attacked anyone. They hadn't done anything criminal, but they were part of that group. That's why they were arrested. They are now in jail because they were part of a group. They didn't commit any criminal acts. They were just part of a group. With the wrong ideology, and that's really dangerous, because if they can take them, imagine okay, then they go after more moderate people next. That's the really slippery slope thing there. It's
anyone who disagrees, we can deem them as a terrorist outfit. So once we've deemed you as a terrorist outfit, we can just shut you down straight away.
Because they call everyone a Nazi now. So they can. That's a really dangerous thing to do. A really slippery slope. You know what? I actually saw what I believe the reasons that he was arrested. One of the reasons that one of the guys was arrested was because he had a copy of Breivik's manifesto. So that's apparently legal. I mean, I never saw that it was illegal to have that book in the UK. I mean, it's not like it's a. I mean, I obviously don't like the book, but it's not illegal to have it. It's not illegal to read it. I mean, that's part of free speech. I mean.
Well, that's the slippery slope part of it for me, Peter. It's who decides that who is right and who is wrong in this scenario. Is it someone who's being impartial, or is it someone who's got a certain agenda? Was bias, and then I'm in that position of power, then that really counteracts what I'm actually supposed to be doing. So to me, that's dangerous, because you can't just, not that I advocate any of these books or whatever they're doing. I'm not at all. But it goes back to the simple equation, really. These guys are not the direct threat at this moment in time.
As long as no one is doing anything criminal, in other words, physically harming someone, then free speech is free speech. Even in Sweden, they allow Nazi parties to exist and have demonstrations. It's been a big talk about that in Sweden the last few months, because there's a Nazi party on the rise in Sweden, and they've actually recently ruled that they are allowed to have their protests as much as they want in Sweden, because that's part of democracy and part of free speech. I mean, even Sweden is actually better on this than the UK, which is really interesting.
Well, you've got to do it. I mean, it's not that I want Nazis roaming around the streets and whatnot, but everyone has got the right.
Everyone has the right to free speech, their own opinion.
And you do think that most of the time, Peter, that if you do allow people to just air their grievance in a safe and positive manner, then 9 times out of 10 they do the march and they go home.
And that's the thing.
It's only everything.
If you ban it, you drive it underground, and that makes it more dangerous. Then
and then you make people more extreme, because you're making them feel as if they're really, and in some ways they might have the wrong ideology, but at the same time, same again, who's to sanction what is right and what is wrong? If you're going to be impartial and say that you're going to be impartial, you've got to allow the bad guys to have their say in a fair, honest manner. If any of them cross the line in any way, then the book gets thrown at them, just the same as with the good guys. You've got to allow that. But personally, I feel we're getting to this point now where if any movement has got to progress, it's got to be rebranded.
Well, it has to be good optics. I mean, those guys, that group that we were talking about, they actually had a I think there's a video of it on YouTube. They had a protest in Newcastle, I think it was 1 or 2 years ago, So these guys are Nazis, actual Nazis, not the fake, not the ones who just get called around. They are actually Nazis. These guys. So they stood in Newcastle. They had a big banner, and had a picture of Hitler, and said Hitler did nothing wrong. That's the kind of stupid, retarded optics that won't help anyone. I mean, that's just stupid.
I mean, that's just a crazy ideology. I mean, this is what to me. No, because the average person does not agree with that. So that's what I mean. That's where everyone is getting tarnished with this. If you've got a problem with kind of radical, is that a photo of the group here now? Yeah,
the group. This photo here is from a group in Sweden, a Swedish nationalist group. I just want to put up. I think this is an example of quite good optics. This photo here.
Yeah, I don't see any backpacks, any hoods up, any beers being passed about.
No, they don't have anything stupid. They just have Swedish flags, nicely dressed, and nice girls and men. I think.
I mean, to be fair, no matter what your movement, Peter, if you're going to be taken seriously, you've got you've got to act professionally. You've got to. Yeah. So running around like a Neanderthal in the street is not going to send the positive message over, is it?
I think the ones that the right should copy is the identitarians. I don't know if you've seen their protests, but their optics is perfect, absolutely perfect. That's what everyone should copy. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of videos on them on YouTube. That's absolutely perfect optics what they are doing.
I mean, like I say, the right and the far right, the spectrum of different people's opinions has never been so vast in what I would regard as the right, the far right. But the press are managing to amalgamate everyone, whether you be a 56-year-old female who feels that, you know, they've got a problem with radical Islam and they've got a problem with Sharia law, whether you're that or whether you're someone who has really got Nazi beliefs and you do believe that you want every brown person and black person out, somehow they're best friends in this movement. And that's what they keep selling to everyone. And so you're not going to get anyone who's a normal person who has, you know, feels the concerns but wants to join the movement, while you've got the Neanderthal within that movement. You know what I mean? So that optic needs to be, it's like you need to change the name, almost. If you call yourself a right-wing group, then bang, you're on a slippery slope. You're never going to get anywhere, because the right means everything that they're portraying, and what they're portraying is the negative aspects. When I say they, I mean the press and EDL, because they're both playing off each other. So the average person who's really maybe affiliated with more right-wing feeling moods and wants to affiliate can't go anywhere near it, because soon as they do, they haven't got a job. Soon as they do, they're seen as a Nazi.
And that is because,
and that's what I mean. It needs to.
That is because of the media, and that's why I think we should end the monopoly of the mainstream media. I mean, look at the left. They always get perfect optics every time, even though they run around attacking people. And to be honest, many of them look like complete freaks. But I mean, there's just a few things. I can show you some photos here from the left, from the Antifa march, counter protest in Newcastle, because there was actually a very big one. About 500 people turned up to the Antifa protest in Newcastle.
Right.
Hang on. Let me see here. I'll bring up the photo of so here's one of the Antifa marchers.
My word. Okay. Right then.
We have there was actually several Labour MPs in Antifa march as well, which really is a disgrace. That shouldn't be allowed. I mean, here's this person here. This is Shio Nvara, Labour MP. She actually wrote a Guardian article the other day where she asked herself what was worse, racism or rape. She found herself asking that question, apparently. Whether racism or rape was worse after, well, because there was this Asian grooming gang that had raped 100 white girls in Newcastle. So she was asking herself whether racism or rape was worse, and she was in this march here in Newcastle. There was 2 other Labour MPs as well. But imagine this: the communists, Antifa communists, the communists killed over 100 million people, way more than the Nazis. So this is literally worse than walking in a Nazi march, because they killed more people than Nazis. And here yet you have 3 Labour MPs openly walking in this march. I mean, it's a disgrace. It shouldn't be tolerated at all. It's completely. I mean,
well, particularly with what's been going on with Antifa over the past few weeks, the fact that they are kind of being more recognised as a terrorist group, then anyone who should be affiliated with them should be looked at. And if there's anyone, you know, a prime minister or a politician of any kind that's linked or having a photo with them, they've got to be pulled out. If they were in the rally, in a far right rally, if they were at the EDL rally, I'm not backing EDL again. If they were at the march in Bristol, you know, they would have got castigated for it, because no politician wants to align themselves with a so-called right-wing march. No one at all. But when it comes to the left, no matter what the left ideal's all about, they seem to be queuing up to stand and get a photo taken. So it's you can see where the bias lies.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, definitely. I think look here. Here's another photo from the march. I mean, it's like this is like the lowest amount of testosterone I've ever seen in one picture. Look at this guy.
What the?
And then
I'm just looking to the right.
And you have this thing here.
Okay. Well, that's what I was looking at. Is that real? Like, what's? It's just like social misfits. It's just, you know, kids who just don't know where they're at yet. I mean, what?
Is this a man or is this a man or is this a woman?
No,
can anyone
I would say that's a woman.
Chat, can anyone find out? I'm not completely sure. I think looking around this area here, I think it's a woman. I think it is a woman. If you look at this area around here,
I think it's a woman. I think it's a woman. I just don't get why you can tell someone who's more left wing and someone who's right or conservative straight away by kind of looking at them, and it's so bizarre. I can't understand what makes people kind of dress a certain way. I mean, you know, like I said, when we was walking in Bristol, there was half a dozen people walk around, and it's like the hair was like rainbow coloured. It was like the hair was like a flag of Sweden on them. Like, what the? And it's the way they looked at us. They looked at us like they knew that we wasn't in their camp. You know what I mean? And I didn't have any swastikas on. I didn't, you know, I wasn't doing the Heil Hitler or anything like that. But it was just, they could tell we was different, and we obviously could tell they were different, because aesthetically they just looked weird. They just looked like they needed a wash. They really did. You know, a lot of these guys did. But
yeah, I think
it's just so bizarre.
I think the thing is with the left, they always get perfect PR from the media, but they also, I mean, they have a lot of those freaks with all the blue hair and stuff. But the left, they always try and claim the moral high ground, like they love peace, all of this stuff, you know, no war, and all of this kind of stuff. They always kind of get a good optics in that sense. But then they have a few. I went through it in detail in the video. I mean, everyone should watch it if they haven't seen it.
But like you say, though, it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, isn't it, really? Because they claim to be the purveyors of peace, and, you know, equal, everyone gets everything equal. But at the same time, it's more in line with communism and socialism. But it's done in such a way that it's not apparent unless you really scratch underneath the surface. And then you match up the different manifestos, and there's not much difference between the two once you actually look at what's going on in the background. You know what I mean? But they do, like you say, they do it with the peace and love behind it. So it appears as if it's offering something to people, but in a way, it's kind of enslaving people. It's just a pity that they don't read into it rather than just falling for it and being brainwashed instead of just standing back.
Yeah. But I want to go on. One more thing I saw in Newcastle here was this thing here. This I saw in Newcastle Park just as I went from the EDL march down to the Antifa march. So I came across this police car, policing with pride. With pink and blue colors. I guess
what's that got to do with it?
This is like really gonna scare off the criminals. This car. Like,
yeah, make it lovely and pink.
And blue.
Put some tassels on it, a few ribbons, and it'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Yeah, it'd be lovely and non-threatening. I mean, how can you make a police van non-threatening? Back when I was young, you feared hearing the sirens. It's like that looks more like an ice cream van than a freaking police van.
Yeah, it looks like an ice cream van. Ice cream van. Yeah, this other side.
I'd be like running out with my money, wanting, yeah, can I have a cone, a 99, please, with hundreds and thousands and raspberry sauce. Oh, sorry, I'm under arrest. I didn't realise. What?
Here's the other side of the car, LGBT Plus Association, and it's sponsored by Stonewall. And if you don't know, Stonewall is a far left homosexual activist lobby group. So why is the police joining up with a far left activist group? You thought the police were supposed to be neutral.
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be bringing politics into their job. That's the one thing they're not supposed to do, take any side either way. But you can see the agendas, the left agenda, they're all in line with, and it's all right. You know,
well, it seems like much of the police in the UK are left-wing activists. You know, that's to have a police car like that should be completely unacceptable because they have to be neutral. You know, how can it be?
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, so being so-called homophobic is, you know, you can get in jail for that. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But yet at the same time, we are almost, or the left is almost in line with radical Islam. So with their record of how they treat homosexuals and gays and their opinion of them, in one way you're making your police vans like ice cream vans. And then in the other way, you're saying, "Oh, well, we don't like them because they don't like." You know, you can't support both groups because it seems that the left is supporting the radical Islam in a sense that allowing it to, you know, stifling people's freedom of speech and allowing it to creep and gain more power, but at the same time present the message that, oh no, we're all for LGBT and whatnot, and oh yeah, you can have your 99 cone anytime you want it. But it's just a mass brainwashing into just right in front of everyone's eyes, really. And that should not be, that van should not exist, really. That is so out of order. No, like, and it's not that I disagree with LGBT. It's not a question of that. It's like you say, they should be impartial.
Imagine someone in the 90s telling them, showing a picture of this police car. Here's the future police holding up this picture. People will be like, okay, I don't want to go. I don't want to go forward. I want to go backwards in time, please. Can we stop this?
Well, yeah, you would. You'd think to yourself, where is it going? I mean, you'd expect the arresting officers to wear pink tutus as well, just to kind of seal the deal.
Like, you know, like imagine someone in nice, like, yeah, we're gonna have a homosexual police force in 2017. People were like, oh.
You know, that's where it's going, though, isn't it? It's being acquiescent to it all, that they're allowing all this infiltration into it, where it's going to contaminate it, and it's not going to be as effective as a police force because of all these new regulations and everything they're bringing in that they've got to adhere to. Just be police. I don't want you to be upholding rights. Just allow me to have my right to air my grievances in public, by all means. But I don't want you taking a side. I mean, if I was anti-LGBT, then I'm anti-police by very definition. Not that I am, but just
that's
on
the
that
thing, yeah.
alone, because they've made their stance straight away.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I think
so, you become an enemy of the state and you've not even done anything. You thought you were going for an ice cream and you're actually going to get arrested.
I think going on, I think the last thing I want to talk about is Trump. And apparently he's been having some strange tweets yesterday, and been some really strange stuff going on there. Trump was apparently had a meeting with Nancy Pelosi where they were talking about amnesty and putting DACA into law, the DACA thing, where they give amnesty basically, and without any guarantees to build a wall either. Really, really strange stuff going on. And Alex Jones and Roger Stone are suggesting that the globalists in the White House are basically locking him out and poisoning him by putting some sedatives in his Diet Coke that he drinks. It's really strange what's going on. You should see his last tweet from yesterday. It's really strange. He tweeted that is it really fair to kick these illegal migrants out of the US when they have been working and contributing so much? I'm like, what? This could just as well been tweeted from Obama or Hillary. I mean, like, what's going on here?
It's a dramatic flip from how he started his campaign. Not to say that I would expect him to be just as hardline, because he was hardline at the very beginning, and quite rightly so, I guess. There's a lot of issues going on, but that does sound worrying.
The first week was good, but then it's really just gone downhill since then.
Yeah, I mean, with the Alex Jones and Roger Stone, I mean, I don't know whether that's true or not. I mean, it could be, it might not be. I'm not going to kind of assume that is the case. It's whether he's got his team in. I still don't believe he's got his team, and I do feel he's being isolated somewhat. There could be. I mean, I feel that could be viable, but I don't just want to jump off on that tangent. But if you analyse everything that's gone on, then it does make sense. From where his stance was right at the very beginning to how difficult it's been to implement everything he's tried to do, the travel ban and all the rest of it, the tax and Obamacare, try to get rid of that. There's so many different obstacles. And then you talk about actually a bit of a coup in the background ensuing. And then there's all types of his administration that were brought in that wasn't really with his way of thinking and now been edged out, but not before they've laid some landmines. And then they talk about Obama holdovers being in there. And it is so dirty and stinky and messy, Peter, that it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, they're playing
I can't honestly
the tactics.
Well, yeah, but just because of, obviously, if that tweet, that does sound like an about turn. Now, why is he privy to something that we don't know about, or is he getting, a totally different set of information? As in contaminated information to kind of fulfill their agenda more than his, or what is the actual plan? But it does seem to be kind of sidestepping at this point. It does seem to be turning on what his original ideals was. So if I was an American and I'd vote for Trump now, I'd be thinking to myself, what the hell's going on here? He should be standing up a bit more, but I would be concerned if all the stories are true about all the illusion, all the deception that's going on, and the talk of literally an open coup.
Yeah.
So it's worrying. I mean, very worrying.
Interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think the globalists have a firm grip around the kind of, because the presidency is really just like a puppet if you're honest, if you look at it. I mean, the prime ministers and presidents are really just puppets to the globalists, the elites, the bankers, all of these guys.
But I do feel that when Trump first started, I mean, the first thing he done was he got some American firms, before he actually was inaugurated, he got some jobs back. He done an executive order, the Paris Treaty. You know, he come out of that, the climate deal, the TPP. You know, there's so many positive things that you can see then. That was so anti-establishment. It was like, yeah, go on, Trump. Yeah, you've done it. You've done it. You said you were going to do it, and you've done it. So you can only assume that he had the right intentions at the beginning. Now, to me, like you say, there's a lot of speculation as to why he's sidestepping. I can't say for sure. Now, that could be a sedative thing. I don't know. That could be just sensationalism. But I'm not going to discount it either, because, you know, we all know how dirty politics is. And if they have isolated the man and they want to break him down, then that could be. It would be spectacular to think that that is actually going on under everybody's noses. But it wouldn't surprise me when you think of all the scheming things that they've done over the past year or so.
Yeah, no, it's.
What I'm trying to say is, Peter,
yeah, go on.
It's so spectacular. I'm trying to say it's so spectacular that I can't kind of wrap my head around it. That we're actually talking about the possibility that the elected president, after being on a witch hunt, after a witch hunt for, you know, since he's been president, that might be there, that he's been poisoned, and the possibility is there that they want to do a covert coup. I mean, that is the real possibilities. And it's just, if this was Obama we was talking about, what would be going on now? If all this was going on, you know, the establishment would be, you know, going into meltdown. This seems to be just like, oh, well, he deserves it. It's almost like, well, it don't really matter. It's like people are sat back and waiting for it to happen almost. And I can't even say whether it's actually true, but the fact we're talking about, it's just so shocking and disturbing that if something does happen to him in the next 6 months, we've all been witness to this.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens there. I don't really have any comment on it myself, but yeah, I think...
well, it's hard because it's all speculation, Peter, isn't it? So, I mean, I don't want to assume, oh, yeah, you know, he's getting paracetamol put into his coffee of a morning, because he may be, he may not be, but you certainly look at what he's done at the beginning and where he's at now. He seems to have be turning more left. Now, I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
You know, unless there's a liberal vaccine that we don't know about, you know.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, it's going to be interesting what happens, because I think overall the population is becoming more right-wing, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Also, the upcoming German elections is coming here in a couple of weeks, so that's going to be interesting as well. I actually saw really interesting the populist, kind of nationalist party, the AfD in Germany, actually had a really interesting advertisement up. That says, hang on, pop it up on screen here. This one here, it says, "New Germans, we make them ourselves."
Right, all right, fair enough.
So, you know, yeah, so, you know, we don't need migrants. That's the point.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Well, if that had been in America, I'm sure Black Lives Matter would have kicked up a stink, because it was actually a picture of a white lady.
I think it's a good advertisement.
I think that's a wholesome advertisement. You know, there's nothing wrong in that, and at the same time, there's all tones of all ethnicities. There's nothing wrong with the ethnicity if you want to celebrate that. and you want to read. What's wrong with that? Why is that regarded as a nationalist, a Naziist kind of opinion? It's natural.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's just common sense.
Of course, it is just natural.
Yeah,
but not in the world we live in at the moment, Peter.
No, no, the left is a bit crazy there. Yeah.
Oh, without doubt.
What do you think, Phil? We've been going for like 50 minutes now. What do you think? Should we wrap this up? Or
yeah, no problem.
Finally can keep it almost on time at least.
Wow, for once.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so shall wrap it up then, and
that's all good, mate. It's been a good show.
Excellent. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Leave a like, share this video with your friends, subscribe if you haven't done so, and make sure to tune next time, Sunday 8 p.m. We'll be back then with all the latest. So we'll see you all then later, guys. Yeah. Thanks. Bye.